lovely lit quilt. Interesting lighting. It is so fun to be here and frankly a dream to be at this quilt show at all. I know for those of you at home in the United States and Canada, it is the very wee hours of the morning. However, that's the time that it is convenient here. So I thought I would go live for a little while. I have a treat for you. The quilt that is behind me is by Zelda, and she is a fabulous Welsh quilter, and so I'm going to give you a little tour of her exhibit, and then hopefully we'll have a chance to look at a few of the winning quilts and possibly walk over into the main quilt display. There's quite a bit of space in between and vendors and so forth, so I don't know how convenient really it will or how well it would work for me to carry my camera there, or in fact how long my data will last, but we're going to give it a whirl. So let's go in and meet Zelda, and let me turn my camera around. Maybe I should introduce myself in case you're just happening on my show. My name is Susan Smith. I'm a machine quilter, but really a quilt maker as well as you, and so therefore just a lover of all things quilty. And it is such a treat to be here in Birmingham and see quilting on the other side of the pond. There are different vendors and different suppliers, and certainly the quilt show has a bit of a different flavor. And in particular, there are exhibits such as the one that I'm going to show you. There are a whole selection of private exhibits or individual exhibits that are just fantastic, where you get to meet the artist and talk with them in depth about their work and the stories behind it. And so we're going to take a moment now to meet Zelda. So here we go. You're going to get a brief look at the show as we flip the camera around. Perfect. So here we are entering the exhibit, and we're going to catch up with Zelda, and she's going to tell us a little about her quilts. And Zelda, I'm going to let you decide which quilt you want to show. Just walk in front of it, and that's where we'll start.
Okay. This one is a good one to start with because it's one of the basic ones. It also shows what makes this tradition quite well, because that's the question I'm often asked, is what makes this tradition different from Welsh quilting as a whole. The biggest difference that people always notice is the fact that we only use solid fabrics. These days I use grunge as well because it's not really solid. It's more of a text. It's not really packing. It's more of a texture, but it is solid on the back. So I kind of bend the rules because I'm a bad girl with that. So you've got solid fabrics, and that is because people who make these quilts were very religious, and they belong to the solid fabrics as keeping your eyes on the straight and narrow. That's the first thing. The second thing is there's always an element of visual optical illusion. You're never quite sure where one block ends and another one begins. And this one's a pretty good example of that. People think this is the block. It's not, it's actually this one. But you get that place. And they believe that this is because God gives us a superficial picture of the world, and to get to the truth you have to dig deeper. Also, there are more than two sides to every story usually. So in digging deeper, we get to the truth. It's a lesson not to jump first and ask questions later. Questions first. The third thing that makes this distinct is that they always have a maverick colour. A colour that's got no friends in the palette. And this is because they felt that to grow as people, to come to the truth within ourselves, we have to have something to push back against. We need challenge, we need opposition to really crystallise what we think. And also because God takes the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, and makes them all into a beautiful whole. So in doing this with our quilts, we are reflecting God in what we do with our lives. Colour is really important because again, it was regarded as a gift from God. And nobody wants to give a gift and not have it used. And as a result of that, the colour is completely in your face because we're showing everybody, look, everybody, we are God's children, we're taking this gift and we're giving it back into the world. That's really what makes these quilts different, and it's also the essence of the tradition of which I'm now the last person left alive doing it. So this is why I'm here at the Festival of Quilts. This is why I'm showing all these quilts is to kickstart people making shimmy and gadu tradition again, and hopefully not have it die on my watch, because there's 250 years of tradition behind me, and I don't want to drop that.
Okay, I love that. I'm going to ask you what the maverick color is in just a moment on this quilt. But those of you that are tuning in, are you able to hear us okay, or do I need to be much closer to Zelda as she's speaking? So, with that said, what is the maverick color on this quilt?
Okay.
Viewers, what's your best guess?
It's black. Because the aqua has a very cream undertone to it. So people have said it's the cream. It's not. It could be, but the aqua I've used is actually quite cream based. The black is completely standalone. It's the one that doesn't have any mates.
Okay, people are definitely hearing others more than you, so that's why I keep moving in to get a little closer.
I thought you were just being friendly.
All right, did you want to show us one or two more just ever so briefly?
I'll do the most powerful one of all the quilts.
Okay, and I'll come close to you to get your voice, but maybe zooming in on the quilt, but just close to your speaking.
This one is called Wildfire, and it tells a story really of my friend in northern Spain who was given 10 minutes to get out of her house, and the police stood over her while she grabbed her 4-month-old baby and everything she needed to survive for the night, and to shelter in a community centre with the other members of her village. She actually rang me from there, and she was so terrified and worried and frightened that she was actually gibbering. Her terror really moved me. She didn't know she'd have a house to go back to the next morning. Thankfully she did. The fire missed her by 10 metres, so she had a really close escape. But this was my emotional response to her terror that evening. A layer of further meaning is in it, because the lady who did the quilting for me on this one was moved by the story as well. And when you go to the centre, it's all destruction, it's flames, it's swirls. These are representative front doors with fire coming out of them because the fire's taken the building. This is all chaos and destruction. As you get further out to the edges of the quilt, you start to see flowers coming in. There are still some flames, but you've got the flowers, and then you get branches and leaves and trees, and on the outside edge it's all flowers. So Susan Pons, who did the quilting for me here, has built into this story of destruction some regeneration, and to me that teaches us that it doesn't matter how chaotic and destructive something might be happening in our lives, there's always the possibility of regeneration. So for me, this is really a quilt of hope. Quite a serious one on that one, but all the quilts have stories and meaning behind them. Some of them are more fun and more banal and more silly, but for me this one is a very powerful quilt because of what I got from the Edith story and also what Susan put into the quilting.
Beautiful. All right, I think I'll leave my tour of Zelda's quilts at that. I know she's got a private tour coming up in just a few moments too, and so I'll leave her to prepare for that. And also I will maybe go get some more mics and come back live with you guys with a little bit better sound. But I appreciate you tuning in and letting me know how it's going on that end. And I'll come back and give you a few more glimpses at the winning quilts and some of the quilts on the quilt floor in about 15 to 20 minutes time. So look for that, and we'll see you then.